Module 8, Method of Words Selection for Dictionary. Selection of words for a dictionary is not an easy task. It has to be measured against various issues and factors fretted with the questions of identity of words in a language. There are several important questions directly linked with selection of words for a dictionary. In simple estimation, as a dictionary compiler, we have to address the following issues while compiling words for a dictionary. We have to decide quite clearly if all the words that are used in a language should be here in the dictionary or not. Suppose there are more than 5 lakhs of words in a language. And here the selection question is, if it's possible to compile all the words and there should be all the words included in the dictionary or not. We have to decide if words of all types from the prescriptive of structure should be included in the dictionary. Should we take all inflected, conjugated, derived, affixed, compounded and reduplicated forms into the dictionary? Or there should be any measure to delimit the number of entries in the dictionary? We have to decide if words of all origin should be in the dictionary. Suppose we are developing a monolingual Bangla dictionary, and in that case it has to be decided if words of Sanskrit, Tatsama, Tadbhava, Hindi, Odia, Urdu, Assamese, Santali and other Indian languages should be included into the list. Similarly, we have to decide if all English, Persian, Arabic, Portuguese and words of other origin should be included in the list or not. We have to decide how many foreign words should be there in the dictionary. For a language like Bangla, it is very difficult to decide about how many English words should be there in the dictionary, because the number of English words in Bangla is increasing at a high rate. Here it becomes a challenging issue to decide which words are to be there in the list and which are not to be ignored from the list. We have to decide words from which domains or subject areas should be included in the dictionary. If it is a general dictionary, then on principle we have to justify whether the specialized vocabulary from the domains of medicine, technology, engineering, law, business, trade and commerce, biology, chemistry, etc. should be there or not. And if so, how many words from these domains should be taken into the list? We have to decide if word formative elements like affixes, case markers, tense markers, person markers, particles, emphatic markers, enclitics, which have no independent use in a language, should be there in the lexical list of a dictionary. Normally, these are listed in the stock as these are treated as lexicographic words, even though these are not considered as linguistic word in general sense. We have to decide if the alphabets used in the script of a language should there be in the lexical list. Normally, each letter, mostly vowel and consonant graphemes, used in the alphabet are included into the list and are treated according as their respective places in the dictionary, if the words are alphabetically arranged in the dictionary. A special dictionary has the option open for ignoring these characters as well as the word formative elements, but a general reference dictionary cannot ignore these characters. We have to decide if multi-word units like set phrases, idioms, proverbial expressions, etc. should be there in a dictionary. In case of a special dictionary, we can have the liberty to ignore them, while in the case of a general reference dictionary, we are mostly inclined to include them. Although it is not possible to include all the multi-word units found in a language, a moderate number of forms or the most frequently used forms may get their entry into the lexical list of a dictionary. The exhaustive list of idioms and proverbs may be developed as separate dictionaries or special dictionaries, dictionaries of idiomatic expressions, dictionary of proverbial expressions in a language. In the following sections, we shall mostly focus on these issues, keeping in mind form and content of a general reference dictionary. Planning. Dictionary planning is a long, complex and time-consuming task. Preparation of dictionaries may take several years. First, we need to decide what kind of dictionary you want to develop, since the subsequent work will differ accordingly to the type of a dictionary. A monolingual general dictionary, for example, will cover words available in one language. All entry words and their definitions or meanings will be given in the same language. In practice, it will contain those words which belong to various spheres of life. It will carry additional information about the spelling, pronunciation, grammar, meaning, etymology, usage, and various other aspects of words. Although it may vary in size, it will aim to cover all the regular aspects of the words included into the list. It cannot, however, include the entries, lexical stock, or entire lexical stock of a language, since language is a vibrant aspect of the human society that changes with time. No dictionary, except that of a dead language, can handle all the words found in a language. At this stage of planning, we need to decide about various issues of dictionary making. As there is hardly any scope for large-scale changes at a later stage, we need to adhere to the basic issues before we can start the actual work. To stick to the plan, it is always useful to prepare a blueprint that will contain detailed description and meticulous instructions regarding the collection of data, selection of lexical items, compilation of word lists, the structure of the dictionary entry, orthography and pronunciation, definition, grammatical information, semantic information, usage, phraseology, citation, illustrations, etc. The blueprint will contain a few simple entries also. It may also contain information about the scope of the dictionary, its purpose and its readership, the range of coverage, etc. Data collection. After the planning stage is over, the next step is the collection of relevant data that can represent the language in a homogeneous form. Practically, databases are usually developed by collecting representative text samples from literature, arts, social sciences, natural sciences, commerce, medicine, technology, newspapers, magazines, advertisements, and other sources which are considered representative of a language. Collection of data will differ for different types of dictionary. We can collect data from written text samples if a language has written literature. For unwritten languages, data can be collected from spoken texts samples using fieldwork methods. In collecting data for written languages, records should be kept regarding the sources from which the material is collected and the methods followed in collecting the data. The nature of the source material also differs from different types of dictionary. For a historical dictionary, the collection is based on the available representative texts of the language from the earliest periods to the present. Data can be examined keeping in view their evidential value from the perspective of ancestral languages, cognate languages, descendant languages, donor or recipient languages, as well as substratum and superstratum languages. The source materials for the learner's dictionary are collected from contemporary literary texts and made available in dictionaries. Materials for children dictionaries are usually collected from textbooks, writings, answer scripts, notebooks, and children compositions. For a bilingual dictionary, Existing monolingual dictionaries are taken as a source materials. Also, the resources of a bilingual dictionary include translations, which provide new technical terms and other words related to the life and culture of the people of the source language. Materials of a normative dictionary are extracted from creative literature, texts on technical and scientific subjects, history, philosophy, logic, etc., as well as from journals and newspapers. These resources are good for extracting words and phrases newly introduced into the language, as well as words and phrases used in new senses. Special terms introduced in the language are also found in such sources. To achieve wide representativeness of data, text samples from mass media, radio, television, etc. are also utilized for collection of words for a normative dictionary. Sources for a reference dictionary are more varied. Since the focus of this dictionary is not only on the standard language, but also the regional variations, it uses text from spoken sources also. Extraction is made from different types of spoken text to add variety to the lexical stock used in it. Text from various discourse types, narration, dialogues, eyewitness accounts, conversations, arguments, etc. are also used as source material for this kind of dictionary. The collection of data from all the above sources may not be enough for a large dictionary. For large dictionaries, there are usually advisory boards consisting of experts on different branches of human knowledge. The experts not only provide terms special to their discipline, but also help at a larger state to give definitions of these terms. Even common people can assist by providing materials for dictionaries. People working on a reference dictionary that aims at representing the regional variation also include texts that provide materials for such variations. The lexicographer, if he is a native speaker of the language, can also provide a lot of information by himself. He may construct his own examples in order to disambiguate certain lexical items. A general dictionary may contain words used in other types of dictionary. To expand its functional relevance, it may include language samples belonging to both contemporary and earlier periods, which can give a diachronic dimension necessary for understanding a language. At the time of dictionary planning, it is needed to decide whether it will be based on purely contemporary materials or include texts of earlier years. Since idiomatic and proverbial expressions represent the older stage of language and ordinary speakers often quote from old texts, it is sensible to include lexical items from the earlier texts. Although these do not form the central body of the contemporary vocabulary, they are useful for the users for comprehending older texts. A general dictionary does not contain words of local or regional varieties. Such words are usually ignored. However, a lexicographer may include words and terms from local or regional varieties only when these terms are standardized and included in the common vocabulary of the language. Archaic and obsolete words are included in the dictionary following the same principle. A general dictionary may also include words related to social and stylistic variations if it tries to represent different registers, professional jargons, slang, etc. as far as possible. Since the inclusion of all these items in a general dictionary is a debatable issue, the lexicographer has to decide how much can actually be included inside the dictionary. The entire database that is considered sufficient for a dictionary should be, in principle, multidimensional, properly balanced, and widely representative. In fact, the uniqueness of a general dictionary is attested in its scope. Extraction of lexical items. Normally, Lexical items are extracted from a text with its full context, which is considered adequate to express its meaning clearly and unambiguously. The context of a lexical item varies according to the nature of its use. At certain times, a very short context is adequate to give clear meaning of a lexical item, while at certain other times it requires a full stanza. From this point of view, a context can either be a word or a single lexical unit, a phrase or a sentence, a full stanza or a collection of sentences, or a full paragraph to give a full context, especially when the lexical unit has some cultural significance. Words should be collected with their full collocational frame, which will provide clear and unambiguous meanings. In fact, the occurrence of a word in different contexts in the same sense should not deter a lexicographer from collecting more extracts, since a new meaning may become available from further extractions. In general, two inferences can be made from the basis of the context. Contextual sense of a word. A meaning is tentatively fixed from the first extract. It is later verified on the basis of meanings taken from all the possible contexts. All the meanings have to be included in a dictionary, since related meanings are treated as multiple meanings of the same word. For example, different meanings of chair can be determined from the following context. He sat on a chair. Here, chair indicates a separate movable seat for one person. The chair of philosophy. It refers to position of professor in an academic institute. He will chair the meeting. That means he will preside over the meeting. He was condemned to the chair. That is, he is electric chair for death. Abstractions of the canonical forms can be made, which will be used as headwords. In extracting depleted, incomplete and ambiguous context should be avoided, since they cannot give full and clear meaning. For instance, in a context such as he gave me a ring, the word ring may mean a metal ring or a telephone call. The lexicographer has to examine such contexts and collect only those which are self-sufficient to determine the meaning of a lexical unit. The nature of extractions is also related to this. What type of extractions should be done from different sources? Although an ideal situation is to extract data from all the existing texts, there are practical difficulties in dealing with enormous amounts of data. Therefore, extraction has to be selective. From this point of view, extraction can be general and special. In case of general extraction, lexical units of general nature are normally selected. Also, lexical units belonging to definite thematic groups are extracted for their general meanings. For example, from a general text on the sky and the sea, words related to climate are extracted without any specifications of their technical meanings. Special extraction is done in order to find special technical meanings of words belonging to any subject field. For example, we can get a detailed list of linguistic terms in their special meanings from a book on general linguistics. Similarly, the name of flora in their special meanings can be found in a book on botany. Textbooks of different subjects may provide details of technical terms related to particular branch of knowledge. Selection of lexical items. Lexical items are selected after the extractions of a large list of words obtained from various text samples. While selecting the lexical items, the following issues have to be taken into consideration. New words. New words are important in dictionary compilation. Since new objects, ideas and concepts are continuously created or adopted by a speech community, the lexical stock of a language can never remain static. The word stock is in the process of gradual modification in the following ways. New words and expressions are coined, new meanings are given to existing words, words are borrowed from other languages. New words and expressions are coined for different objects ranging from day-to-day fashion to nuclear warfare. Some neologisms are ephemeral. They are born today to die tomorrow. Neologisms depend on some extra linguistic conditions, and as soon as they disappear, the word denoting them tend to disappear as well. Some may have longer life. From individual and occasional uses, they become more frequent and are gradually accepted in the vocabulary. The inclusion of such lexical items in a dictionary is always problematic. It is often claimed that they should not be included until they become a part of the regular vocabulary of a language. However, one of the roles of a dictionary is to record neologism as well. Obsolete and archaic words. These words should also be considered for inclusion. As new words are born in a language, old words die. When some concepts and objects become outdated, words and expressions for them become also obsolete. Similar process applies to archaic words which are not found in general use but has a rare occurrence in specific text types. A modern dictionary which is based on contemporary language can ignore such words, but a general dictionary which aims at helping readers to understand older texts will definitely include them. Some of the words and phrases used by earlier writers may have functional relevance for modern users also. On similar principle, old and archaic idioms, phrases, and proverbs will have the right to be included in a general dictionary, although they are considered obsolete. Scientific and technical terms. It is a debatable issue if scientific and technical terms should be included in a general dictionary. The influx of technical terms in a language is considerable. Every day, new technical terms are coined or new meanings are attached to the old terms. The problem in the selection of technical terms is related to their commonness, that is, frequency of use among the people, acceptability, whether it is properly used by the people, and the ambiguity, whether they are referring to multiple senses. The question is whether these four terms should be included in a dictionary and be given preference over their common counterparts. Since a general dictionary can hardly cover all the special terms, a dictionary maker should be selective. Proper names. The inclusion of proper names in dictionary also create problems. Since proper names do not form a part of a language system, it is questionable whether they should be included in dictionary. However, some proper names attain special significance in the course of the history of a language and become an integral part of the national culture. Thus, if a name is intimately connected with the people as a vital part of its cultural fabric, it should be included in the dictionary. Names of national heroes, mythological characters, etc. should find their place in dictionary. For instance, names like Christ, Muhammad, Bethlehem, Vatican, etc. convey more than their referential meaning. Therefore, these names should be included in a dictionary. In some cases, proper names are used as the basis to derive new words. For example, the word Marx is used to generate forms like Marxism, Marxist, Marxian, and many others. In such cases, it is always desirable to include such proper names, even though the general policy may be against their inclusion. Similarly, when proper names are converted to common nouns, as say Romeo, Casanova, they should be included in the dictionary. Function words. Since function words have no referent, they have no lexical meaning. They have only functional or relational meaning. Yet, they should be included in dictionary because their functional relations, especially in collocations, are unpredictable, and a function word may have a lexical meaning in one context and a grammatical meaning in another context. For example, the function word does in the following sentence is grammatical. He does not like to go. While in a sentence such as he does his work on time, the function word is lexical. And function words have their higher frequencies than content words. As a result, they have larger variety of functions and greater collocational possibilities, providing greater scope to sense discrimination. Compound words. The inclusion of compound words also presents problems. The peculiarities related to their formal and semantic characteristics should be kept in mind in considering their inclusion in dictionary. Formally, the components used to form a compound are united phonetically and or orthographically, since they are characterized by the unity of stress, intonation, spelling, hyphen, etc. Some constituting components may not undergo any morphophonemic change while entering into a compound. For example, the Sanskrit word Nagarbasi, one who lives in city, or Nilkamal, blue lotus, or Kal Ratri, the night on which death occurs, etc. These are compounds where there is no morphophonemic change among the words combined to generate compounds. On the other hand, some components may undergo morphophonemic changes while forming a compound. In such cases, the morphophonemic change is so significant that the components lose their formal identity. Such compounds are very common in the Indian languages. Think, for example, the Sanskrit word Dampati, which is made from the words Jaya and Pati. The final form of the compound is actually derived from two separate nouns which have lost their actual orthographic identity. Such compound should be treated as single word units and included into the dictionary. Since compound words function as single lexical units, they are automatic candidates for inclusion in dictionary. However, longer compounds consisting more than 2 or 3 components are not usually included in dictionary because their meanings are mostly possible to infer from the meanings of the individual components. Because of this reason, a dictionary normally includes compound words made of 2 or 3 components, while larger compounds are usually ignored. In case of some compounds, formative components do not lose their meanings, so that the meaning of the compound is equivalent to the combined meanings of its constituents. For example, mailbox, graveyard, movie maker, maidservant, snowfall, schoolgirl, seawater, road light, etc. On the other hand, the meaning of some compounds cannot be deducted from the combined meanings of its components. On the other hand, the meaning of some compounds cannot be deduced from the combined meanings of components, since one or both the components may lose their original individual meaning. For example, English compounds like chatterbox, greenhouse, sweetheart, red light, white house, etc. Many Sanskrit compounds and Bangla compounds known as Bahubri compounds fall in this group. Finally, regarding to the affixes, should a lexicographer include all affixes found in a language in a dictionary, or only a selected few should be considered? In case of a general dictionary, a lexicographer does not have any option but to include all the affixes available in the language. However, to be accurate and informative, he may provide information about the high productive nature of some affixes with respect to other affixes which are less productive and rarely used in a language.